She didn't scream. She didn't cry. Anna just closed the door so quietly that the most dangerous man in Seoul never heard her leave, and didn't realize until his entire world had already started burning without her. The penthouse smelled like leather and power. Anna moved through it the way water moves through stone. Quietly, purposefully, leaving marks only the patient could see. She straightened Min Ho's suit jacket hanging by the door. A habit. 3 years of marriage had turned her love into muscle memory. She was not fragile. Let that be clear from the beginning. Anna Osei had grown up in Accra, the daughter of a surgeon and a judge. She had a master's degree in international finance from LSE. She spoke 4 languages. She had walked into rooms that tried to shrink her and had simply rearranged the furniture. But Seoul had been different. She had met Min Ho at a private investment conference in Geneva. He was brilliant and magnetic and looked at her like she was the most interesting problem he'd ever wanted to solve. She had not known then what the Min family actually was. By the time she understood the weight of his name, what it cost people who crossed it, what it demanded of everyone near it, she was already in love. And Anna did not love lightly. She had built a quiet life inside the chaos of his world. She hosted his dinners. She learned the unspoken language of who bowed first and why. She studied Korean until she could read a room faster than his own lieutenants.
Min Ho noticed.
Sometimes. Tonight she had cooked. Jollof rice, the real kind, smoky, deep, her mother's recipe. A small act of home in a city that still sometimes felt borrowed. She carried 2 plates toward the study. The door was slightly open. She heard his voice first. Low, warm. The voice he used to use only for her. You're the only one who actually sees me. Anna stopped walking. The plates were warm in her hands. Before we go any further, do you already have a feeling about where this is going? Drop it in the comments. And if you love stories that hit this deep, subscribe. We drop new ones every week. She should have walked away. That is what she would tell herself later, in the quiet of a different city, in a life she had not yet imagined. She should have backed away from that door, set the plates down, and given herself the mercy of not knowing. But Anna had never been a woman who looked away from the truth. She pushed the door open. Min Ho was at his desk, phone pressed to his ear, jacket off, the way he only ever was when he felt completely safe. On the screen in front of him, a video call. A woman, Korean, beautiful, laughing at something he had just said with the ease of someone who had been laughing with him for a long time. He looked up. For one suspended second, husband and wife simply looked at each other. I'll call you back. He ended the call. Slowly. No panique. That was what broke something deep in Anna's chest. Not guilt on his face, but calculation. He was already managing the situation before he had even spoken a word. Anna, the rice will get cold, she said. Her voice was completely steady. She set his plate on the desk. She picked hers back up. She walked out of the study, down the hall, through the kitchen, and onto the balcony. 40 floors below. Seoul blazed and hummed. Indifferent and enormous. She ate alone. Every bite deliberate. Every swallow an act of dignity. Inside, she heard him making another call. Not to her. His voice was low again, clipped, professional. Handling things. That was Min Ho's answer to everything. Handle it, contain it, move on. She set her fork down and looked at the city. So that's what I am now, she thought. Something to be handled. He came to bed at 2 a.m. Anna was awake. She had been awake since the balcony, lying in the dark with her eyes open, listening to the apartment breathe around her. She heard his footsteps stop at the bedroom door. A long pause. Then he entered. He slid into bed behind her. His hand found her shoulder. It's not what you think, he said quietly. She said nothing. Her name is Ji-Yun. She's connected to the Busan network. It's business, Anna. Everything in my world has a cost. You know that. She knew that. She had always known that. She had signed up for a complicated man and had never pretended otherwise. But she also knew the difference between a man conducting business and a man who says you're the only one who actually sees me in a voice made of warmth and privacy. Go to sleep, Min Ho. You're angry. I said go to sleep. He was quiet for a moment. Then, and this was the part that would stay with her longest, he sighed. The sigh of a man who considers the conversation managed. Who has said the necessary words and now expects the necessary forgiveness. His hand slipped from her shoulder. Within minutes, his breathing slowed. He was asleep. Anna lay completely still beside him, staring at the ceiling. 3 years of dinners. 3 years of learning his world, his language, his silences. 3 years of being the one steady thing in the life of a man who controlled half of Seoul's underground economy. And he had fallen asleep in 4 minutes. She got up carefully, went to her home office, sat at her desk in the dark, opened her laptop, and began making arrangements. She gave herself 72 hours. Not out of hesitation, out of precision. Anna Osei did not run. She executed. But the universe apparently had other plans. The next morning, Min-ho's chief of security, a stone-faced man named Ryu, appeared at the breakfast table before she had finished her coffee. There's been a threat, Ryu said. Credible. Targeting Mrs. Min specifically. Anna looked up from her cup. What kind of threat? The Busan network. Ryu's jaw tightened. Someone leaked that you're the soft point. She almost laughed. The soft point. She set her coffee down. And Min-ho. He's requesting you stay in the secure wing until it's resolved. 48 hours. Maximum. 48 hours locked in a penthouse with the man she had already decided to leave. Min-ho appeared in the doorway. He had not slept well. She could see it in his eyes, the tightness around his mouth. Good. He looked at her with something complicated on his face. Something that, in another life, she might have called remorse. It'll be over quickly, he said. Most things are, she replied. She spent the first 6 hours in her office. He spent his in the study. The apartment held them like a held breath. Around noon, the power flickered. A security protocol, Ryu explained, resetting the grid. Every screen went dark. And suddenly there was nothing to hide behind. Min-ho appeared in her office doorway. No phone. No armor. Just a man. Can I sit? He asked. Anna looked at him for a long moment. It's your apartment, she said. He sat anyway like a guest. The silence between them had texture. Min-ho sat in the chair across from her desk, elbows on his knees, looking at the floor. Anna watched him the way she watched everything. Carefully, completely, without flinching. Say what you came to say, she said. He looked up. I don't know where to start. Start with Ji-yun. His jaw tightened. Ji-yun is the daughter of the Busan Syndicate's second-in-command. I've been managing that relationship for 8 months. It's a negotiation, Anna. A dangerous one. You told her she was the only one who saw you. The words landed. She watched them land on him. That was, he stopped, started again. That was a mistake. Something that went further than it should have. Further, Anna repeated quietly. Interesting word. Something cracked open in his face. Not anger. Something raw. My mother left when I was 9, he said suddenly. Anna went still. She didn't say goodbye, didn't leave a note. One morning she was just gone. My father told everyone she died. It was easier than the truth. He exhaled slowly. I grew up in a house where the people who were supposed to stay didn't. So I learned to hold everything loosely. People, feelings, everything. Including me? Especially you. His voice dropped. Because you were the one I couldn't afford to lose. So I told myself you'd always be there. I stopped. I stopped actually seeing you because I was terrified of how much it would cost me if you left. That is not an excuse, he added. I know that. Anna looked at him steadily. No, she said softly. It isn't. But something in her chest had shifted just slightly. Just enough to be dangerous. It started with food. Anna had not planned to cook. But the apartment kitchen was stocked. Her hands needed something to do, and hunger, unlike heartbreak, was at least a problem she knew how to solve. She was making Kantameyer stew when Min-ho appeared in the kitchen doorway. What is that smell? He asked. Not rudely, almost reverently. My grandmother's recipe, she said. You've never had it. You've never made it for me. She paused. That was true. She had kept certain things for herself. Small private corners of home that she had never offered him because she had sensed, correctly, that he would not have known how to receive them. Sit down, she said. He sat at the kitchen island like a guest in his own life. She cooked. He watched. And slowly, the way rivers find their way around stone, they began to talk. Really talk. He told her about his first year building the network, 17, broke, running errands for men who looked through him. She told him about her first week in Seoul, how she had stood in a supermarket for 20 minutes because she couldn't read a single label and had refused to cry about it. He laughed. A real laugh. She had forgotten that sound. You never told me that, he said. You never asked. The words were gentle, but they landed true. Later they ate side by side at the kitchen island. No table, no formality, no performance. Just two people and a bowl of something warm. This is extraordinary, he said quietly. She looked at him. The stew. He met her eyes. Yes, he said. The stew. But neither of them was talking about the stew. Came at midnight. Minho's second phone, the one she wasn't supposed to know about, lit up on the kitchen counter where he had carelessly left it. Anna saw it before he did. The name on the screen. Ji-Yun kiss mark. One emoji. The kind you don't send to a business contact. Anna picked up the phone. She was not a woman who snooped. She had never once gone through his things in 3 years of marriage. But the screen was already unlocked, the message already visible, and the messages above it told a story that had nothing to do with Busan syndicate negotiations. Miss you already. Last night was everything. When are you telling her? Minho walked back into the kitchen. He saw the phone in her hand. The silence was catastrophic. Anna. Last night. Her voice was ice. While I was eating alone on this balcony, you were with her. It's complicated. When are you telling her? She read it aloud. Slowly. Telling me what exactly, Minho? He said nothing. That nothing was its own confession. 3 years. Her voice broke, just once, then steadied. I learned your language. I navigated your world. I made myself smaller in rooms where I should have been the most powerful person, for you. For us. You were never small. Don't. The word came out like a blade. Don't you dare tell me what I was. She set the phone down carefully. I'm done, she said. And this time she meant it in every language she knew. She left before sunrise. 2 bags. Everything irreplaceably hers. Her degrees rolled in their tubes. Her mother's jewelry. The small carved elephant her father had given her the day she left Accra. The wedding photo she left on his desk. No note. Minho found the empty wardrobe at 6 a.m. He stood in the doorway staring at the empty hangers, each one an accusation. He called Ryu. Find her. Ryu called back 20 minutes later. She's at the airport, sir. London flight. Boarding in 40 minutes. Minho sat on the edge of the bed. His apartment, his empire, his silence. He picked up his phone, put it down, picked it up again. He thought about his mother leaving when he was 9. He had promised himself, in the wordless way of wounded children, that he would never let anyone close enough to leave him. He had kept that promise so well he had driven away the one person worth keeping. He dialed. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. He closed his eyes. Anna. His voice was raw, unguarded. The voice his enemies would never believe existed. I know you won't pick up. I know I don't deserve a response. But I need you to hear this once. A long breath. I see you. I should have said it every single day. You were never background. Never secondary. You were the only real thing in my entire life, and I treated the most real thing I ever had like it would always be there. His voice broke completely. I'm sorry. I am genuinely, devastatingly sorry. At the airport, Anna sat with her boarding pass, phone pressed to her ear, eyes closed, listening to every word. She did not call back, but she listened to it twice. Anna heard every word. But is sorry ever enough? What would you do in her position? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe right now because this ending will surprise you. 8 months later.
Lagos, Nikiye.
Anna's firm, Ose Global Advisory, had been operating for 6 months out of a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows facing the Atlantic. She had chosen the location herself. The floor, the orientation, everything. She had spent enough years in penthouses with views of other buildings. She wanted to see the horizon. She was reviewing contracts when her assistant knocked. "There's someone here without an appointment. He says you won't see him if he asks permission first." Anna looked up slowly. "He's Korean," the assistant added carefully. "Very intense." A pause. "Send him in." Minho walked through her door in a plain dark jacket.
No entouraje.
No security. He looked quieter, like a man who had spent 8 months sitting with something heavy and had finally stopped trying to put it down. He looked around her office. The ocean view, the framed degrees, the carved elephant on her desk. "You built it," he said softly. "I told you I would." He stood across from her desk like a guest. "I ended it with Ji-Yun the morning you left," he said. "Completely. And I've been rebuilding the right way. Slowly." He reached into his jacket, set something small on her desk. A folded recipe card. Anna stared at it. "Your grandmother's Kantemeyer recipe," he said. "Your sister gave it to me. Took some convincing." He exhaled. "I've been learning to make it. I burned it 11 times. 12, she said quietly. "Ada told me." Something flickered across his face. "You two talk." "She gives me updates," Anna said. "I didn't ask her to. She just does." A silence settled between them, but it was different from all the silences before. This one had air in it. "I'm not here to ask you back into that life," he said. "I'm here because you changed me, the real me, and I needed you to know that in person." Anna looked at him for a long time. Then she picked up the recipe card. "You burned it 11 times and kept going," she said. 12, he corrected softly. 11 if you don't count Tuesday. She laughed. "A real one." He looked at her the way he had in Geneva, like she was the most interesting thing in any room. Except this time he wasn't trying to solve her. He was simply seeing her. "Sit down, Minho," she said finally. He sat, like a guest, like a man who understood completely that whatever came next, she would decide the terms. Outside, the Atlantic moved the way it always had, patient, enormous, and entirely unbothered. Anna set the recipe card on her desk between them like a beginning. She didn't go back to his world. She invited him into hers, on her terms, in her city, in the life she built from nothing. That's not just a love story. That's a woman who chose herself first and found something real waiting on the other side. If the story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe for brand new stories every single week, because the best ones are always yet to come.